What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. And I mean, for real, let's talk about it. Trying to figure out where's everybody at. Lex, stay on there, don't he? Now, let's get to it. All your updates on the DC Universe. Okay, Sean, this is what you asked for. This is what you get. Southeast '01 is even in here. Now, number one on the request list is everybody wants to know what's going on with Henry Cavill contract situation and DC and Warner Brothers. What's happening there? So far, he is still good with them. He's not been cast out. Man of Steel 2 is not happening right now. There have been no decision made by Warner Brothers on what they're going to do with the Superman character moving forward. They don't know what they're going to do as far as how long or how many years out, and they're trying to determine, do they want to keep Henry Cavill under contract? And he's like, look, you guys got to keep paying me to stay on the Superman. They have to pay. In case you guys don't know how this goes, when you retain a person, a character, you're paying for their time, which means they could be working on other projects. Like when he did Mission Impossible, he was allowed by Warner Brothers to go out and do that other film because he had already completed his contract. So he was free to go out and do other films. But when they do reshoots and all these other things, they needed him to come back to do the reshoots. They had to CGI his mustache. They didn't have the right to make him cut his mustache, which was a no-no by the other film for Mission Impossible. He had to keep that. Which led to the controversy we saw before. Now, so here's the situation though with his contract. The production credits, director, script approval, anything about Man of Steel 2, there is no way in the world they're doing Man of Steel 2 right now at this time. They have no plans of even doing a Man of Steel 2 right now. That's fandom. Fans are saying, Man of Steel 2. We need a man, and Superman is not getting his own individual movie. They're not going down that road. What they're going down to is putting Superman and mixing him with other characters like Wonder Woman or Batman. They don't want to take risk of another Superman movie as of right now. Man of Steel was just to reintroduce Superman and get him back into the swing of things. So the Injustice film, they're keeping that very silent right now, but they have not released Henry Cavill, and they're still going to keep him on board. They haven't made a decision yet on what they're going to do. Now, if they're going to have a time limit to get a deal done, they're going to keep him in for future projects because then they could release him to go and do other films. Now, everybody's second question, mainly Sean, and I thank you for your donations to the page. You guys could all donate and make requests or suggestions rather in the hit up the stream lab. But here we're on the screen thing, so you guys can do the super chat. Now there have been rumors that Henry Cavill was going to be in, Wonder Woman 1984, which was going to set up the Injustice film. But no, it seems like Superman will not be in that film, but Aquaman should be in that movie. Now, we don't know. Henry Cavill is gonna he's got permission while Warner Brothers is going through this whole thing. He's gonna be shooting a Netflix fantasy series called The Witcher. Now, what they don't want is this to become a hit. If The Witcher becomes a hit, say goodbye to Henry Cavill as Superman. He's not gonna come back. I'm telling you, it's gonna take a lot to bring him back. He's the lead role in this Witcher program that's coming on Netflix. Just pay him for what? See, that's the thing. If you pay Henry Cavill to stay and you don't end up doing a Superman movie, you just wasted all this money. Now, here's the thing, Zack Snyder. What about the future of Zack Snyder? The problem with Zack Snyder, and it all started with Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman wasn't a bad movie. It just didn't have the replay value that everybody was expecting to see from a movie like this, that people would want to go back and watch it again and again and again. And that's where they felt they dropped the ball. It was too dark. And they were like, okay, Zach, Suicide Squad is going to be a lot colorful. We got more characters in it. And again, it was shot very dark. And they were like, Zack Snyder is that guy, like that's his vision. Every movie he's done prior to that has been the same way. No matter if the color on the screen or not, it's always going to be gritty, dark. That's just Zack Snyder. That is his movies. That is always, he's great at action sequences. So what they did was they brought in the guy from Marvel. I keep forgetting his name. When him and Kevin Feige bumped heads and they let him go. Josh Wheaton. Josh Wheaton, the guy who got a lot of fame for the Avengers. So when Josh Wheaton came over, he just screwed up Suicide Squad, and he screwed up the Justice League, rather, not Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was screwed up, and Zack Snyder knew where he went wrong. He's like, I should have just made the Joker the villain. It was smart the way they did it, making because you never saw that coming. If you saw the Suicide Squad, you never saw the witch end up turning the Enchantress turning into the bad person. And the way it was shot and the way they did the Enchantress, how she turned when the hand came out and just flipped over and she turned into the that was that shot and everything in it was great. I had no problem with the film. The only thing they had is that the ending was like really dumb with them fighting the witch. When the Joker was the threat of the movie, he should have been the main antagonist in the film, and he should have had the witch or whatever, and he betrayed the witch in total Joker fashion. They could have rewritten that a whole different type of way. I thought for sure the Joker was going to take the witch out when I first watched the film. But I had no problems really with Suicide Squad. I thought it was great. I thought the music fit, the soundtrack, everything was perfect. Then it was just not enough jokes, not enough action with Margot. What's her name? They brought her in to make like a funny scene, a reshoot. They brought in with what's her name, Roby. They brought her in for a reshoot so they can They can do that elevator scene with just her bashing the things on the elevator. It just made no sense. But it was something where they could use the music and have a scene just for her to show she don't need a man's help. Uh, Terrible idea, but that's studio for you. So the studio set up that woman power thing where she didn't need no man to help her out. She could do it herself. And they were tampering with Zack's vision and everything else. So right then they're losing trust in Zack Snyder. So Suicide Squad don't do the numbers they thought it was gonna do. Now, even though it was successful, it just didn't do the numbers they thought it was gonna do. So now they hit the panic button for Justice League. He's already because they filmed all three of these films back to back to back. So they were banking on the fact that these films were going to come out and do tremendous with sales and everything else. So when you see the Justice League and all these other films getting ready to come, around it, you're like, okay, they're filming Batman, uh, Suicide Squad, Justice League all around the same time because that's all they were going to have for Affleck. Now while they filming Justice League, now you got issues because now those films weren't successful. Justice League got to be successful, like blockbuster, like successful, and they're worried about it. And they screwed up Justice League so bad. I was like, oh my god, it's such a messed up film. I can't wait to see the Zack Snyder version. Please put out the Zack Snyder version. I know DC, they'll wait 10 years later and be like, the release of the Zack Snyder version of Justice League 10 years later down the pipe. Just like they screwed up Superman. I got the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. His vision made way more sense than theirs. Yeah, if they released the Richard Donner, it took them 25, 30 years to do the Richard Donner version of Superman 2, which is incredible. I mean, the scene where Lois Lane shoots Superman and that's how she finds out she shot at Clark Kent and got him and tricked him into saying that he was Superman. That's the way it really went down in Superman 2, not the way they did it. In the film that you saw when he just confessed and broke down that he was Superman because his hand fell in some fire. No, Swamp Thing gonna be off the chain. I had no problem with Affleck as Batman. He was great. He was supposed to play an older Batman. The problem is Ben Affleck is now he can't physically go back to that to get back in shape to play Batman again. That's just not gonna happen. That's why they had to film the movies back to back to back. Because Ben Affleck wasn't gonna keep going, doing another film and coming back getting in shape to play Batman, do another thing and come back and no, you better start filming that right now while he's still in shape. When he's still in Batman shape. Well, Zack Snyder seems to be out right now. He's a little hot about what happened with the Warner Brothers, how they kind of cast him out, and then the fact that his daughter had committed suicide and all of this stuff. And when all of this going on, they kind of like rushed in Josh Whedon anyway to screw up his movie. And Josh Whedon just like, I made Avengers poppin'. I'm the guy for Avengers. It's me. I'm the guy. Josh Whedon. It's my vision. So that kind of elitist attitude is what got him out of there with Kevin Feige. So Josh Whedon ended up going over to DC, and they don't know what to do with Josh Whedon. He's supposed to be doing Batgirl. That got canceled because he just keeps rubbing people the wrong way. Um, I mean, what the all the changes he made on Man of Steel did not work. I mean, Justice League. He cut Darkseid out. That was dumb. He's not fired. He's just they just have nothing for him right now. There's nothing for him to do. But he's not like canned right now, so he still gets a check. But it's basically nothing for him to do. So they might just phase him out. Like for the next couple of films, he's not involved. Case in point, Birds of Prey, they got James Gunn in there doing that. And now he just got picked up again by Marvel because they damn sure didn't want to lose James Gunn to DC. So the Birds of Prey, James Gunn's going to be doing that Suicide Squad sequel. They're recasting Will Smith will not be Deadshot. Deadshot will be played by another character who won't take off the mask. Hmm. Well, when they do, James Gunn does the reboot for Suicide Squad. He's not gonna do, especially with Brightburn's success. Um, they're gonna just do an entirely different outlook on the Suicide Squad. He's gonna put his touch to it, and it's almost gonna be like a reboot. Now, the movie The Batman, Matt Reeves is writing and directing it, and they're gonna like reportedly, it's gonna be a younger Batman, but it's gonna be more about him being the detective, like he was in the comics. So they really wanted a younger Batman, and Affleck was a little too old to be playing the Batman. So Affleck was gonna write and produce it, and they ended up just going in a whole nother direction. No, Wonder Woman 1984 will have Aquaman in it. Henry Cav- Everybody's trying to leave the door open that Henry Cavill could come back and do a cameo in Wonder Woman 1984. Don't don't bank on it. He's doing The Witcher right now, that Netflix fantasy series. So, I mean, I would love to see him, but right now that's what it is.